when you're not prioritizing yourself, when your cup is empty, you can't give anything or enough to others around you. So really, you're not prioritizing anyone.
Self-care absolutely could be taking a bath and getting massage. And for a lot of people, it is just the basics of humaning. That's the basics of taking care of this temple that you have been given. Do something that you don't hate. We have to take care of ourselves. You have to be a priority.
One of the things that he was talking about is the three pillars, of like physical, emotional, mental. And he's like, but the foundation is sleep. So if you don't have sleep, it doesn't even matter. Like
Doesn't
you could
matter.
work out, you could eat
Right.
healthy. If you don't sleep, your body does so much while we sleep. It repairs everything, recovers
Yep.
everything. It's really important.
Welcome to Courage is Built Here, the podcast. I'm Justine Froelker, licensed professional counselor, author, speaker, and corporate trainer. Here, we bring my Courage is Built Here curriculum to life and community. Each week, I invite a guest to walk one of the 5 courageous pathways with me through authentic, sometimes tough, sometimes hilarious conversations. No performance, no polish, just real people practicing real courage with grit, grace, and a whole lot of love. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Courage is Built Here podcast. Today, we have Pathway 2, Embody Again, How to Take Care of Ourselves. So Embody Again is technically, it's a quick stop in the full curriculum, and yet it's foundational. It is where we really talk about and learn about foundations of health. Like, how are you eating? How are you hydrating? How are you sleeping? How are you moving your body? How do you have presence in your body? How do you have awe and wonder and delight and laughter and joy? It's these foundations that help you human because you're not a robot. We also talk about things like nighttime routines and bedtime routines and how to make things easy and how to create new habits. And we talk about vagus nerve work and breath work and all of these different things. I mean, self-care absolutely could be taking a bath and getting massage. And for a lot of people, it is just the basics of humaning. That's the basics of taking care of this temple that you have been given. Do you feed yourself well? Do you drink enough clean water that's actually hydrating you? You have to add salt to it, like real salt, not table salt, like Crucial 4 or Redmond's. Those are the 2 that I'm thinking of right now. How are you sleeping? Are you getting enough? Do you fall asleep easily? Do you stay asleep? Do you feel refreshed when you wake up? Are you moving your body? Are you lifting weights? It's a very important part of aging, especially. Are you working on your mobility? Are you walking outside? And are you doing exercise that you don't hate? Seriously, do something that you don't hate. And for me, really, it does come I want you to be present. I want you to be bored sometimes. I want you to step outside, even if you're not an outdoorsy person. I want you to be in your body. We have to take care of ourselves. You have to be a priority. You have to be your top priority. And so today's guest, this episode is so good. Today's guest is my friend Jess Mader. I met Jess through Association of Talent and Development here in St. Louis. I love every conversation I get to have with her. She walks out courage work. She champions me in this space. She also works at Edward Jones, where I've spoken at multiple times. And so I am really excited for you to learn from her. She has been on a health journey the last several months and really, really, really changed her entire life. And therefore has also changed everyone who loves her. She's changed their lives too, all because she has chosen to finally make herself a priority. So maybe grab a pen because she shares quite a few resources. And let's welcome Jess to the podcast. Hi, welcome Jess to the Courage is Built Here podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be
I'm
here.
so excited. Thank you for saying yes to this. I really appreciate it.
You are one of my favorite people, so I couldn't say no.
Thank you. No pressure. All right. So we're going to start off with a question that I ask everybody at the beginning. When you think about courage, most especially through that lens of pathway to embody again, so like self care, routines, health, things like that, is there a story that or a moment that comes up for you that rises up to the top?
Yeah, and actually, I have done a ton of work recently in this space because about 4 months ago, I made the realization that I was not a priority in my own life. And I looked at my priorities, and the list was kids and work and my husband. And ultimately, I wasn't even on the list at all. And when there were those moments in my day or my life where I had time, right?
Hmm.
I couldn't give myself the time. It wasn't, I don't know. I I couldn't um I didn't see it as important, right? For me to take care of myself. And even when I think about today, the topic about health and prioritizing yourself
Yeah.
and and your mental wellness, you
Oh,
know, it took me a while to realize, but once I realized that I wasn't a priority, and then I thought about even those moments where I did have time, like, oh, I have
yeah.
half an hour, and I would scroll, on like Facebook or something, and
Yeah.
it's taken me the last 4 months to really reflect on that and look at that's not taking care of myself either. So that is
No.
just like trying to like avoid even taking care of myself. And so the last 4 months I have been really digging deep and focusing on prioritizing myself. And the biggest realization that I made is that when you're not prioritizing yourself, when your cup is empty,
Mhm.
you can't give you can't give anything or enough to others around you. So really, you're not prioritizing anyone. So that's the story
Ugh.
that came up for me.
Dang. That's well, and like we talk about in the like you can't give what you don't have. If you're not meeting yourself well first with any of it, all of it, self-compassion and trust, forgiveness, love, care, I challenge people. I don't think you're going to be able to meet other people with it well if you can't meet yourself with it first. But like I do, and especially working moms,
Yeah.
like
And it showed up, in how I interacted with my kids, and it
okay.
brought shame, to that too, because I felt like I had a short fuse, and I would get
Yeah. Yeah.
angry, or I would even yell, and then I would almost be embarrassed, and then I'd apologize like, "Sorry, that was a weird reaction."
Right.
But I didn't connect it to, if I'm not taking care of myself, then I'm frazzled. I'm reacting a certain way.
Oof. Was that kinda like did you have a thing that happened or, like, did you have, like, that rock bottom of, like, "Oh, dang, I'm, like, not even on the list," or was it kind of just a culmination of all those little moments that built up for you? Like, what made that light bulb go off that you're like, "Okay, I've got to make myself a priority. I have to take better care of myself."
I think it was like kind of a rock bottom because I just identified that I wasn't happy with my body or how I looked, and I was creating stories around that too. Like I decided that my husband didn't like how I looked anymore, and he never said that, but I
Right?
created that.
Yeah,
And I didn't talk
yeah.
to him about it. And so I just
Of course not. Why would we do that? Like, it's so
and then
true.
yeah, and then I just realized, like, I'm just not happy at how I'm interacting with the kids, and I'm not happy with my health and my body, and then I'm not prioritizing that. And I realized that I couldn't do it alone because I felt like I knew what I should do. Like I should work out, I should eat healthy. And I was like, I'm kind of eating healthy already. Why am I
Yeah.
still gaining weight and
Yeah.
and unhappy with my body? And I kind of hit that moment of like, this, I can't do it alone
Mhm.
almost. And so I was looking for, how do I getting healthy in a way that works for me?
Yeah. Yeah. There's there's a couple pieces there, like, well, first off, because like, you even said, like, you would react your cup was empty, so then you would react with the kids in crappy ways, which then you would shame yourself about, and then
Hmm.
you also just talked about, like, you're like, "I should go to the gym, I should eat healthier." Should is shame, right? And so, like, I especially women, but I think so all of us, we use shame because somewhere along the line we've been taught or told that's how we create change, or and that's how we make ourselves a better mom or get in better shape or whatever else. But like shame is disconnection. Like if I don't feel like I'm worthy of the change, I'm not going to change. Shame will never create change. And so like it's this weird of like it is a perfect storm. I Shame keeps me down, but then I also shame myself for staying down.
Mhm.
And then we live from those stories. I've had like for sure, especially like now in my I guess technically late 40s. I'm 46 now, but like as your body changes, you do like those stories that I have made up, like, I don't feel good in this body of mine. There's no way Chad wants to like he has to probably feel the same way. And it's like and that's all shame too.
Mhm.
Ugh. What was your exit ramp? What was the first step?
So I actually joined a program called Strong Mom
Yeah.
that has helped me through. They focus on 3 areas of physical, mental, and emotional health.
Love it.
And so there's a coach, you have a coach, and they kinda ease you into it. So they start
Really?
really slow,
Okay.
and, like, you don't even start journaling until month 2, they're like,
Okay.
"Here, how about you journal every night?" So it has been, kind of li it's been life-changing for me, the focus on those 3 spaces and having that support, and really, I realized that I knew this before, but this helps in this space is I am a rule follower, and
Mm,
if give me a checklist, give me a thing, and
me
I
too.
will follow it,
Yep.
right? So they have, checklists that you do every day, you're looking at those 3 spaces of
Okay.
physical, mental, and emotional health, and
Yeah.
that helps, and then you have a coach that you meet with, every couple weeks, and they hold you accountable through kind of a Teams type app.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It was like I think most people probably need an accountability partner or
Mhm.
a coach or a program like you're answering to yourself and answering to someone else. So I do think sometimes, especially those of us who have struggled to put ourselves first, we don't want to let anyone else down. So you check off your list because like you don't want to be that person in the program, right? Like
Yeah.
especially for me as a rule follower, like okay, I gotta do that. There's also a part though too, and we talk about this in the courage work. Like I love how they like eased you into it because I think so many times we feel like we have to make a massive change in our life. We know we need to. We've hit a rock bottom in one area or whatever. And then we come up with this like huge plan or this huge thing that we're going to change. And it's too big. And we end up self
Mhm.
sabotaging ourselves because we set ourselves up for failure. And so I always teach people like, it's okay to make it easy. Make it easy. Like, you're not going to find the time to make a 30-minute walk. Okay. Make 10-minute walk. Like,
Yeah.
do 5 minutes. Like, but it's okay to make it easy. So I love how they kind of eased you into it, especially because I mean, moms are notorious for putting themselves last.
Mhm.
Every time, every time. And I think for me as someone like especially as my therapeutic background, it was like I would tell moms when they were in my private practice, like, "Your kids are watching you do that."
Yeah.
Like, you probably watch somebody not take great care of themselves. And so and you're also fairly tired and pretty resentful and judgy and angry and not your best self. And so what would it be like to model something differently for your children and break this off with
Mhm.
you?
Mhm. And I've seen a difference already with the kids,
Really?
and they asked me about, like, "Did you get your workout in?"
Yeah.
And they wanna eat more healthy, and we're looking at how do we have, protein and
Yeah.
have a fat and a carb and
Oh,
veggie with every meal, and so
mhm.
and I'm modeling that,
Yeah.
and they're applying it to their own lives too.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I once had a it was years ago. I had a mom say to me and when I was in private practice, she was like, it took a little bit of training for the whole family, right? Like that like mom's routine, this is mom's routine in the morning. And like she goes, "And you helped me set boundaries around it." Like, she would teach her kids, like and obviously, it depends on the age of the children and things like that, but, like, unless you are bleeding, there's an emergency, like, this is mom's, like, quiet time, and she goes, "'Cause I kept hearing, like, model what you want them to have in their life," and she, like, came in one day and she goes, "My daughter came in and I was like, It's mommy's quiet time." She goes, "I know, mom. I wanna sit down and be quiet with you." And she, like, sat down on the cushion next to her and, like, sat in q silence. And I was like, "I don't like, I really need you to take a moment for how much you just changed your child." Like, because 'cause we're not, especially kids now, they're growing up with phones, like, they have technology at their they don't know life without technology, and so
Mhm.
you are literally modeling, and now she's walking out a behavior that will rewire her central nervous system
Right.
because she saw
Yeah,
you do it.
and boundaries are huge too, and just setting expectations with the whole family, because like you said, if the
Ooh, yeah.
routine changed, like I and you mentioned this too already, but, I didn't realize how important sleep was. It was just kinda like I go to bed and I
I
wake
don't
up
need much
whenever
sleep.
time I need to wake up, I wake up. And I was listening to this podcast and just it kind of shocked me into, like, okay, sleep's super important.
Yep,
So really purposeful about getting that 7 hours of sleep, but then I had to set some boundaries with the kids, and there were, especially we were on a vacation one time, and I said, "I have to be in bed by this time
mhm,
because I know I have to get up at this time.
yep,
So if you're not in bed by this time, then I can't tickle your back because that's our routine, right?"
right.
And so it was like, if you're not back in the room by that time, then it's not gonna happen, and it didn't happen, but they didn't wake me up. But and then setting boundaries with my husband too, because that's been hard. That's been challenging too, because our routine was put the kids to bed and then we hang out for an
Yeah,
hour, but it's
yeah,
like, um, that can't always happen anymore, because I have to get to sleep by a certain time, especially if I have to get up
right.
earlier than normal.
Yep,
And so, but so far, he's been really receptive to that,
yeah,
and doing that, because and a lot of times we would just watch TV and it wasn't
right.
even
I
something
know.
that I even wanted to
Yep,
watch,
I know. Yep,
but
I know.
I wanted to be next to him, but it's
Right,
like,
like
maybe we could find ways to connect differently.
mhm, mhm. That is one of the things I had we were I was in a group and, a question was like, I feel like I need he asked, like, "How do you have, like, rituals with your spouse?" And I had just ordered, like, a brain puzzle book from Amazon, and so it has, like, word searches, crosswords, like, word puzzles, Sudoku and all of those things, like, it has a whole combo of them. And I ordered it because, like, I wanted to scroll less, and I was
Yeah.
really struggling not scrolling, like, and so that I have all the apps, I have all of it, like, right, and it just, like, I just was like, "Okay, I can exercise my brain and do this for 20 minutes in the afternoon," and it became this, like, thing, but then it also became this thing because, like, crosswords are hard for me. Like, I'm I'm smart in lots of other ways, but not that way, and so it would be easier, like, I'd ask Chad, I'd have a whole list, like, "Chad, do you know this?" And so, it became this, like, kind of ritual that we'd sit down on the couch and he'd be like, "Okay, what do you got for me today?" Like, and we'd do the crossword together a little bit, and I was like, we are old and awesome. Like, but I mean, like, but it became this, like, quality time, right? Not on our phones, not watching
Yeah.
a show that doesn't really fill our lives with anything. And so I do think there's these elements that part of our self-care, caring for the whole human, is to find these nuggets of how to turn toward ourselves, but also the people that we love the most,
Mhm.
especially.
In meaningful ways, right?
Yeah, yeah. What's it look like? So, like, as you've really, I mean, because this has been a huge life change for you. So how has that come into, like, fruition and behaviors,
Yeah,
like, to be more courageous, like, at home with the people you love the most, but also at work?
yeah. I think so. In general, if I think about those 3 areas, like
Yeah,
physical, emotional, and then mindset, or mental, physical, I think it's eating healthy. It's just being aware of what I'm eating. I
yeah.
wasn't eating enough protein at all. I didn't eat.
It's a full-time job when you're over 40, I think.
I
Yeah.
know, protein, man. It's like, um, and then getting movement in each day,
Yeah.
so I have probably about a 45-minute workout, kind of strength
Okay.
training 3 times a week, and then I walk twice a week.
Love it.
And then one day is
Oh, we froze.
sleep. So
Uh-huh.
prioritizing sleep,
Okay.
that's a kind of a non-negotiable,
Yeah.
right? For sleep, because one of the things that I listened to this podcast. It was a gentleman that wrote the book Why We Sleep, and his name's Dr. Matthew Walker. So if you want to look
Okay.
it up, it's like a 3-part series. It's like a 3-hour commitment, but
Okay.
instead of scrolling, you can listen to that.
Right. Exactly.
But it changed my life because one of the things that he was talking about is the 3 pillars, of like physical, emotional, mental. And he's like, but the foundation is sleep. So if you don't have sleep, it doesn't even matter. Like
Doesn't
you could
matter.
work out, you could eat
Right.
healthy, whatever. If you don't sleep,
Yep.
your body, it does so much while we sleep. It repairs everything, recovers
Yep.
everything. It's really important. So
Yeah.
sleep, that's the physical part. And then
Yeah.
emotional is just being more aware of my emotions, my
Yep.
feelings, when I do have a feeling, or even still have
Yeah.
times when I react, a way I didn't
Yep.
want to. I take a step back and say, like, why did that happen? What kind of caused that? And looking at it, breathing. So I'm doing a lot more breathing exercises to help
That's
with
awesome.
emotion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the third part, which I think is might be the most important if I think about physical, emotional mindset.
Uh-huh.
I call it mindset. They call it mental, but I call it
Okay.
mindset because I think about like mindset work.
Yeah.
And so journaling. So in my journal, I write down, and there's prompts in there, but
Sure.
write down my priorities. What are my top priorities for tomorrow? And usually there's some that sometimes it's a work priority, but a lot of
Yep.
times it's around physical, mental,
Okay.
or emotional. And then there's my wins, writing down my wins
Love
for
that.
the day, all the things that I'm proud of. It can be little things, big things.
Yep.
And then planning, like what am I going to do to get 1% better in each of those spaces? So
Okay.
maybe if I'm supposed to walk tomorrow, maybe I'll walk 5 extra minutes.
Yeah.
That's 1% better, right?
Right. Right.
Or maybe I'll just add 2.5 pounds to my weights, that
Yeah.
I'm doing. So what am I gonna do to do 1% better? Maybe I'll listen to a podcast instead of scrolling.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
that's that mindset work, and I've been listening to a ton of podcasts now, so I'm so excited. This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
I love it. Yay.
I can't wait to be on a podcast. That'll be my claim to fame. But I just am more purposeful about listening to things that are gonna help me my
Yes.
mindset better and help me manage, and a lot of the podcasts are about,
Yep.
emotions and breathing,
Yep.
or negative talk, listening for that stuff. So I just listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens I mean, it's been like 4 months that you've been really, well, choosing you
Yes.
finally. What happens when you have a bad day or you fall off track? Like, or you miss the mark a little bit? What then? Because we're none of us are gonna do it perfectly. Even I mean, we are rule followers, you and I, but and still, like, what happens with a non-perfect day? Because I think a lot of people hold themselves back from making change in their life because they don't think they can do it perfect enough or good enough.
Yeah. I think what helps is the wins, writing down the wins,
Yeah.
because even if I had a mistake or maybe like I ate differently than I
Yeah.
should have,
Yeah.
if I can write down my wins, but I did do my walk, or I did, or
That's a
I
good
did
point.
stay calm with the kids,
Yeah.
or what did I learn? Like
Mhm.
what why did that happen? Did I not plan? Oh, so much of this is just planning. Like either the week before, the day before, meal planning, so that's really
Yeah.
critical, because if you've got it planned in advance, then the decisions are easier, and
Yep.
but stuff does happen and get in the way, stuff
Yep.
you didn't plan for, and I
Yeah.
think just assessing what happened, what could I do next time, or what could I do differently, or
Uh-huh.
was there emotion attached to it that, you know, like at one
Good.
point I was, snacking a lot more, like, I felt so hungry,
Yeah.
and I was eating healthy snacks, so I wasn't like,
Yeah.
but my coach was like, "Well, what was going on? Like, were you stressed? Were you, what?"
Yeah.
Like,
What
assess.
was the root cause?
It's kinda like, "Okay, next week we'll try again." She's like, "No, no, what's going on there?" So I think for me, I think it's focusing on the wins, and then just the next day, what am I going to do to get 1%
Yeah.
better? So
Yeah.
really just kind of not thinking about it, not worrying about
Yeah. Like, not staying stuck on
it. Yeah.
the missed
That I
mark or
messed up.
whatever it is. Like, there's that element of, like, I do, and I do this in my accountability sessions with my clients. Like, once they've gone through the full training and we go through accountabilities, like, we always pause and we start with, "What are your celebrations? What are the wins?" Right? Like, we don't organizations don't do this enough. We don't do it enough in families, and we don't do it enough for ourselves. Like, to really, I love that, like, what are your wins? Where did you chose well. Like, you chose you. You moved yourself forward a little bit. Those wins, and it's not to, because I hear myself coming back even with that whole element of, like, well, it's not just all like toxic positivity. That's not the point. It's like most of us just, like, our brain is literally wired to focus on where we miss the mark. And so
Mhm.
when you pause to actually memorialize in some ways a true win, it helps you pick yourself back up when you did miss the mark.
Yeah.
And I like that 1% better too. There's a book, I cannot remember the author, Lazy Genius. She has a couple books. I really liked Lazy Genius, but one of the things that she talks about is, like, make a decision that your future self will be happy about, right? So, like, I oftentimes, like, even just in the kid, like, future self, put that away. Like, it doesn't need to go, like, right? It doesn't need to be laying there. Put it away. Your future
Yeah.
self will thank you for that. So it's like
Yeah.
that planning part that's like your future self will thank you for that.
Mhm.
It helps you succeed more.
Absolutely.
I love it. That's so good. That's so good. So like, the people who love you the most, but also have, like, the people that you work with, have they noticed changes?
Oh, yeah,
Especially, like,
absolutely.
changes that maybe you didn't notice. Are there any of those?
So I mean, obviously, my mom lives with me.
Oh, okay.
She has a little apartment in the basement,
Okay.
and then and my husband, both of them are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you." Like both of
Yep.
them have said that
Amazing.
multiple times because it's work, and
Yeah.
we go out to dinner and I eat my
Yep.
protein and my veggies and all the things. And I'm not drinking
Yep.
as much.
Yep.
I drank
Mhm.
a lot. So and part of that is just making that decision
Yep.
to what am I gonna do this weekend? And a lot of times I say I'll have one the whole
Yeah.
weekend, which is not like me.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but
Yeah.
that's changed too. Like I've
Yeah.
learned a lot about myself and I kind of made that like my identity in a way, like
Yeah.
the fun person who drinks
Yeah.
and makes drinks for everyone and makes everyone drink, and so
Yeah.
I had to that's something I'm
Mm.
still working through,
Okay.
but but it's kind of changed how present I am too,
It does.
with my friends and family and kids.
Mhm.
And then my kids, I've noticed, I guess maybe not, I don't know if they've noticed. I think they
Okay.
have, but
Yeah.
I've noticed it's calmer.
Yeah.
It's just calmer in the morning, it's calmer in the afternoon. Everyone is more relaxed and there's not as much kind of
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not reacting, but they're also just feeling better about
Yeah.
everything because it's not as rushed, I think, because there's more planful.
Yeah.
And I did put into place they are all making their own lunches, and that saves a ton of time. I don't know,
Love it.
like probably an hour in the morning,
Yeah.
but they make them at night. So they wash their own lunch boxes, they make their lunches, and they get to buy once a week, which was not a thing, but now they do. So that's the little
Okay.
reward. But that gives me enough time then to work out in the morning when I
Yeah.
need to, or just give me
I love
space.
that. I love that. I think that's such an important. Oh, that's so good. That's teaching them so many things.
But I know you mentioned work and
Yeah.
kinda how it shows up, and I think it's that same element of empty cup. If
Okay.
my cup is full, then I can bring more energy, more clarity in my decisions. I can prioritize work better because I'm more planful,
Yeah.
and I think, people at work and I do volunteer work too, have noticed just I have lost a ton of weight.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I've lost, 18 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "I didn't know you had 18 pounds to
I
lose."
know.
I
Yeah.
knew, I knew. Well, this
Yeah.
you never see.
Right. That's such, I know, we can cover it up pretty well, like, I think that is, like, I have another one of my best friends is on a new health journey, and, she goes, "Can I please send you some side by side pictures? I just need someone to celebrate with me." I was like, "Of course." Like, and it was so vulnerable to send for her to send. I was like, "Of course." I was like, "Oh my word, you look like a completely different person." And she's like, I needed that, like someone else to cheer me on, because also she's gone all in and yet like struggled some, and she can easily
Yeah.
beat herself up for that. And it's like, and she goes, I kept saying, like, small changes add up. Like, if you try to make it perfect, if you try to like go all in, our chances of self-sabotage goes so much. Like, most of us self-sabotage when we do that. And so, like,
Yeah.
those small choices really, really, really add up. So it's amazing. I think it's amazing. It's incredible. Like, and I think it's like, I really do think that when we break this pattern of moms not caring for themselves, everyone's lives get better. Like you said, like the mornings and the afternoons are calmer, like, because it's contagious. Like,
Mhm.
your well-being is contagious, and they feel that. Even if they can't name
Yeah.
it, they feel it. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. I hope you're proud of
Thank
yourself. That's
you. Yeah.
incredible. It really, really is. And it is like, the more I taught the courage work in the corporate space, I realized, like, hardly no one knows how to take care of themselves.
Mm.
Like, they don't know, like, they just don't even know where to begin, or like, and so that's why I was like, that has to be part of this curriculum, like, because, and it's just like these little pieces to make it easy, like make it accessible, small steps, and or something as simple as like the breath work or the journaling. Like, I love it. It changes your whole life, those small pieces. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I will say, like, the whole I know a lot more people they're not drinking as much. I quit drinking, I think December will be 3 years? And I mean, I did it because, like, I was just, like, desperate to feel better. It was like, I'm not sleeping
Mhm.
great anyways, like, and I like, why am I doing this for a couple drinks? And so I did dry January, and it just, like, I felt so much better.
Mhm.
And it is hard because, like, there's identity wrapped up into it for so many of us. It's such a huge part of culture and, like,
Yeah.
networking
Social culture.
or
Mhm.
social stuff, like, and so it's just a fascinating journey when you start to really go down that route. I mean, every time we're at a restaurant, I'm like, "Do you have a mocktail menu?" Like, because if you don't, 1, it's a huge missed business opportunity. I will pay out the nose for a fancy mocktail. Right, I mean, like, but don't give me, like, don't bring me some juice. Don't just remove the, like, liquor, like, make a real mocktail, right? But, like, it's a
Yeah.
it makes a huge drastic change for a lot of people when they start to be more aware of how alcohol affects their health. I also
Mhm.
think, though, their personality and, like, how it's, like, wrapped up in who we are.
Yeah. And I recognize that a lot of it, was more of a habit than anything.
Mm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
when I get home from work, when I'm
Yep.
making dinner, I have a drink while
Yeah.
making dinner.
Yeah.
When I go to a restaurant, I have a drink. And it was like,
Oh, it's so true.
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
Right.
So,
Right.
so
You
that
create the new habit. I love it. So good. So good. You ready for your last 2 questions?
yes.
All right. So, first question that everybody gets: when has courage looked different than you expected it to, and what did it teach you?
I think so. This is hard to be. I mean, I have to be really vulnerable for this one.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the courage was talking to my husband about what was going on
Mm,
and how I felt.
yeah.
And it was wild to see once I decided to take a next step, right, to my health and set boundaries and all the things. I had like anxiety to even like talk about it or
Yeah.
even bring it up with my husband. And kind of funny story, I was talking about with my oldest, who's only 11. Before I talked about it with him, I was just like, I'm just I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this thing and I'm committed, but I gotta talk to dad about it. And she just totally, mm, you know, let the cat out of the bag. I
Ah!
was like washing dishes. She's like, Mom, did you tell him about that thing that you did
That's
this year?
hilarious.
And I was like, oh
She
my
broke the
gosh.
ice for you.
Yeah. I was like, really? I was gonna like ease him into it,
Yeah.
But,
Uh-huh.
having that conversation was terribly hard, but it was so critical, and it was so amazing to hear his perspective because I had made up that story for so long about how he was feeling about
Yep.
me and how he was attracted to me or not attracted to
Yeah.
me, and I after we had that conversation, it just made me feel so much better that he
Yeah.
still loved me, of
Right.
course, but
Right.
in my head, I don't know.
Totally.
Um, and that he was so supportive, you know, of like, "Well, I'll do whatever it takes," because when you tell someone that you're not a
Right.
priority of your life and that you're not happy, you know, then and I didn't tell him that before, you know, so he didn't
Right.
know. And I thought he knew, but he was
No.
just
No.
in his own world.
Right.
Um, so that took a lot of courage. And what
Yeah.
did it teach? It taught me to have keep those lines of communication open, keep talking, um,
Yes.
find the space, find those moments to commit to
Yeah.
breaching the subject or talking it through,
So good.
because otherwise we make up a really big story that's not even
Totally.
true.
Totally. So not true. Oh, I love it. That's such a good answer. So good. All right, your last question based off of Pathway 2. What is one practice or pause that helps you really embody again and show up for yourself? Pick one.
All right, I'm gonna go to sleep. I know I talked about it before, but I think if
Yeah.
that's the foundation, then and it's not
Yeah.
just sleep, it's actually planning for sleep, planning to get at least
Yeah.
7 hours and getting the whole family, whoever is
Yep.
involved, to know how
So good.
important it is
Yeah.
and helping you do it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I've had nights when I get the kids to bed, I take a shower, I come down, there's a pile of dishes. So this happened a couple nights ago, and I said, "Matt, I need your help.
Yep.
I have
Yeah.
to go to bed, but I that is bothering me over there. The
Right.
dishes. Can you
Oh my
do the
god, I love
dishes?"
that you
You
said I
know?
need your help. That's so good. That's so good. There's also I'm gonna plug it because the therapist in me has to. Planning like that pause and that practice of sleep, it's also the planning around it. It's also preparing your mind, body, and spirit for sleep so that you actually fall asleep and stay asleep and
Mhm.
wake up rested. Like that's part of that sleep practice too. It has to be. Because there's too many people that are just scrolling and then
Yeah,
expecting to get a good night's rest.
right.
And it's just not how it's just we're not made that way. We're not made that way. I love it.
Instead of scrolling, just have a little piece of paper and jot down all your
Yeah.
wins
I love it.
and then go to sleep.
So good. So good. Ugh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This was a treasure of amazing tidbits. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Where can people connect with you if they want to connect with you?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn?
Jess
Okay.
Mader.
Well, we'll link it in the show notes and everything. Thank you so much for making the time. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I'm grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Courage is Built Here podcast. Whether you're brand new to this work or living it out loud every day, I hope today was helpful, hopeful, and a reminder that you're not alone. What one bit of courage will you take from this episode, and how will you walk it out? If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave us a review, and please make sure you like and subscribe. New episodes come out every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform and Fridays on YouTube. For more resources, head to JustineFroelker.com and click to my store. Because courage isn't a one-time thing, it's built right here, one small choice at a time, and especially between us.